Okay, so we want to do these special classes for good people because we're not looking for the free Petatikva comments, yeah? I mean, that's a joke, isn't it? People are saying that, I don't know. So I saw one funny one, real. It was like free Tel Aviv bus station. So, like, please come blow us up. We want a new bus station. It's horrible there. They need a new bus station, definitely. But it shouldn't come from blowing up. It should be coming from Shefa and abundance. That's the derech of learning Chizuk from Chassidus. We're always trying to talk about positive. And Baruch Hashem, Parshas Re'eh and Shabbos Mevarachim Chodesh Elul, big opportunity to bring down new blessing for the new year, Tafshin Pei Vav Ba'aleinu L'Tova, because there's no Shabbos Mevarachim Chodesh Tishrei. So this is where all the Shef and all the bracha comes through. We did already today a real kindness podcast, so we've got a little bit of flow over there about the importance of Eretz Yisrael, and we spoke on Sunday with our weekly class here on Tanya about the idea of a festival, and also last week as well we mentioned it. And the first time we mentioned it was a Sunday. So the idea that we have the opportunity to mechazik the Eitam and Am Yisrael. So one of the important points to realize is that part of bringing the holiness to Eretz Yisrael is we as individuals have to do tshuva, and that's why it's important to learn Divrei Tzadikim, because the Tzadikim give us the ability to reach higher levels. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, and when you learn about from the Tanya or Rebbe Nachman, you see these holy svarim, and you want to understand what the Tzadikim are trying to teach us, but it takes a little bit of humility to realize this is a long process, and that's what the podcast was today. It's a process to understand these concepts. It takes time, it takes learning it again and again, seeing it in different contexts, in Shas and Poskim and Sifrei Tzadikim, and also speaking to people. One of the big klalim in Brezov is called Eitzes of Sichas Chaverim, Eitzes Tzadikim and Sichas Chaverim, to speak it out with the eitzes of the advice of righteous people, to speak it out amongst the friends. Have group sessions like a Shtiebel like this, a family meeting. That's why we want more people to come so we can speak out these concepts, try to get them clearer to how to make them more real for us. It's not something we can do really alone, and that's the community, that's the community that we need to keep building. So over here it says, it's a very difficult concept, but we'll start on it. Whoever has a brazen face, chutz b'dik, it is certain he is guilty of immorality. So Gemara in Tainus, Daf Zayin Amud Beis. So that's something like a little bit hard to look. Tzadikim can see people's foreheads. I'll say for my Rebbe, I can't say everything he said to me because it's private between my Rebbe and my family. But this coming Rosh Chodesh Elul, we've already booked our time to meet with the Rebbe, and we get Kabbalah's Kal. So when I used to meet with the Rebbe without the family and just my wife, he'd say certain things just for me, and he'd see on my face, he has Chochmas Pasufim, he could understand from the face really what's going on, and from the hands, also Chochmas Yadayim. He understood from the hands, from the face. I never heard anyone say it beferish from the Rebbe, but things he said to me and about people and about myself specifically, it shows he has insight in this way. And he was able to see through me what kind of energy I have about this Indian that we're learning here. Baruch Hashem, it was good, it was positive. But it's an energy, so we have to be real with it. But with someone like Cain, unfortunately, because Cain he Ahmad al Tumoso Shahavu, he went and came upon his sister, Hevel. Apparently she had two sisters, but Hevel. But anyway, then when they were in the fields, it sounds plural, it sounds like two women, but anyway, he encountered the betrothed girl in the field. That's the pasuk coming up in Kisei Muhammad. But he was guilty of the R word. Apparently YouTube, I don't know why there's some blocking out the R word, but he was aping with a resh, with a woman in an uninhabited place, Baba Basra. 16. In Cain's case, it alludes to having raped Hevel's twin sister, of which he killed Hevel. So he was lusted for his sister and killed for immorality. And he was brazen-faced. He blemished his aspect tefillin, and that was banished from Gan Eden. So we learned last time he was wearing tefillin. Amisol have tefillin. On Mauritian, when he put after his sin, he put tefillin on. We just learned that in the last week's learning. So the tefillin represents this shoas Shechina, this Havana, this kedusha, this holiness, and by being, the opposite with Havel's sister and killing and lusting and doing immorality, a person loses. And as I said, tzaddikim can see this, and that's why, my wife sometimes says she sees on certain people's faces that they're not clean. I trust her. She has bini yasera, extra intuition. It's a hard point, but it's protecting me from certain things. Certain people, she's like, this guy's not clean, don't do business, So I listen to her, and it usually works out. It doesn't happen so often, thank God. Most people that we're connected with, or I'm introduced to, we're in a good circle of people, so it's not really our problem. But you can see once in a while people who unfortunately have blemished themselves, and you feel it. So anyway, these are sensitive points nowadays, because it's a very prevalent reality of immorality, and so therefore we have to, we're not here to judge anyone, as we said, we already learned that in the previous time, but just for the sake of understanding, we have to try work on being the opposite, being holy, and to see the good in Am Yisrael, and that comes together with our own holiness. And v'yeshosh amdu Har Sinai, because when Yisrael, our holy people stood at Har Sinai, Pascha Zumosan, good news. The pollution of the Nachash, of the Yetzer Hara, Hainu Zehumas Nachash, had stopped. So we were in a state of purity. We had no more forgetfulness. We were in a state of holiness of everything we learned, we would remember forever. There's no forgetfulness, no ability to forget anything in Torah. Forgetfulness only comes from impurity, because Torah is nitzvos, is eternal. So when we learn it, I know our tzaddikim we get to that level, but when we learn it, it never leaves us. One tzaddik once told me the key to zichron of Torah, zichros Torah's Moshe, to really understand what Torah is, you have to get to a level where you really are focused, like totally present and engaged, and experience the Torah in its true sweetness, its true depth. And that's how tzaddikim also, they were remembered people, because when they met a yid, they knew that every yid is a chelik of Torah, and the Torah is one, and Hashem's one, and Yisrael's one. So when they met a Jew, they were like, wow, everything. I have to thank Hashem. I'm not on the level of a tzaddik, but I do, on my level, remember people. Like I can remember like experiences as even as a secular young boy in London, all the way through to boys I met in yeshiva and conversations I had with them. So it helps me because I don't forget people, and it gives me a connection to people more than maybe other people have. Because it's not perfect. There have people come up to me and said to me, "Oh yeah, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Do I know you?" Like, I hate those. They're very awkward, those moments, but it does happen. But generally, like the real people that stood out, who really had real connection with them, I don't forget them. It's all about being real with people, and that gives a bonding that's eternal. So that Har Sinai was the most real experience. We were becoming one with Hashem. So there was no more room for this pollution that pollutes our memory, pollutes our soul, and gives us ability. We had the cleanliness and the kli, the vessel for Hashem's light, eternal light. So we were in a state of neshama, of soul, pure soul. And the goyim, they didn't stand there. And it didn't stop this pollution by them. They never experienced the love. As much as all these religions claim, the Ashkenaz and the Mohammedans, Islam and all these guys, they never had a revelation like we had. That's, I don't know if you ever listened to Rabbi Kellerman. You ever followed any Rabbi Kellerman stuff? He has 2 books, very important books that explain our thought and understanding of the Messiah of Har Sinai. And that no other nation, that it's in a rational, clear way, experienced Har Sinai. No other nation had a revelation of and became a people of Nevi'im, of prophets, and became one with Hashem and received the Torah. It was always, all the other religions was always individuals. Every religion, Buddhism, every religion was one person. And a bunch of followers who claimed it was true. But it was never a nation experiencing Hashem's revelation. It's a big difference between our truth, which is eternal truth, and all the other religions, which is just taking a little bit of truth and trying to build a whole movement out of, for all kinds of reasons. We had the real, so by the nations, they never were in a state where the pollution of the snake had stopped. So they've always been in a place of missing this connection that we had. this is certain his ancestors' feet never stood. So those guys, you don't even have to have a question. They never stood at Har Sinai. They never had that experience. So then, chutzpah, no chutzpah, the shame, no shame. They're not in this sugya b'chlal. They're not in this story because they never experienced the moment where this true shame, this true revelation of godliness was on their face. They never got to that level. Maybe there was a few Chasidei Umas Ulam who had revelations of godliness, so on some level, but they did not stand at Har Sinai, that's for sure. Raglei Daika, and it's specifically to do with the feet. Ki ein lehem raglayim, because there's no aspect of feet. K'mo shekosev al gochanecha telech. So the reason why it brings the concept of feet, and this is a deep understanding of the Torah of Bereshis and what happened there with the Nachash, the snake, the first snake, the one that got Adam and Rishon to sin. What happened with the snake? Once it sinned, it was cursed to be on its belly. And what's on the belly? It just eats the dust. It's the biggest curse because you have no relationship with Hashem. That's the explanation. You have no connection anymore. Why? Well, the biggest curse to have is to have no more relationship with God, because you can just endlessly eat. There's endless nourishment for the Nachash. You don't ever look up to Hashem, so you're always immersed in the lower aspect of creation. So you never have that connection upwards. Whereas Am Yisrael and the people of God, we're standing upwards, and not only that, we're standing on Har Sinai, so we got reglaim, we got feet. And MS, truth, stands with feet. Aleph has got feet, Mem has got feet, Taf has got feet. Sheker, which I feel like, say, they take an Arabic language, is very whirly. There's no feet there. There's no, because it's not MS. That's why they're very into Sheker. You see, they're lying about everything going on in the media. Everything's just pure lies from beginning to end. The whole thing is propaganda, is lies. Pollywood, what they call it. Yeah. So they don't stand. They're Sheker. Sheker has no feet. Shin Kuf Reish has no feet. So that's the thing. We're connected to the truth, the MS, and therefore we're not shy to the Nachash and the pollution. Now, obviously, if we blemish it, like we're saying here, like Cain did, then we're going to have. It's a sign you weren't at Har Sinai, what it said before, which is difficult, to say that about another Jew, or on some level we've sort of covered over that truth. So we have to work on this. We'll just read a little bit more. Then God placed a mark on Cain, Chazim Ora Aleim, and He restored the fear in them. Yeah, as it says, all the nations saw, so that it's written in the Zohar, when he did Teshuva, Hashem put a mark on Cain. He repented and he had a special mark. And we said already before from the Zohar and from the Svarim that's the tefillin. And that goes together, that there's a way to restore the radiance through Teshuva. So we could say that also. Let's say that about the nations as well. Let's be optimistic that they're also restoring the radiance. Yeah, let's talk positively about them. Yeah, hopefully they can restore it on their level as well, if they do tshuva. But the real understanding is for Am Yisrael's purposes. That we have to stay away from immorality. That's our job. To be a nation of Kohanim, Mamlechas Kohanim. You asked me about Kohanim before. Ultimately, we're all Kohanim. We're a whole nation of Kohanim, of priests. We have a holy avodah. And fine, and with all the different things we've gone through, so we only have specific Levi and Kohanim, but ultimately we're all going to be Kohanim. And we're all going to have an opportunity to serve Hashem in the highest ways. And every home's going to have his Bechorah, who's going to be a Kohen, and we're going to have opportunities to serve Hashem and be elevated in a way where we won't have the feet, and will be stood upright and be part of the realm of truth. We'll be able to, it's a concept that people talk about, that you want to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. That's an understanding. It doesn't just mean panasa. It doesn't just mean income. That's a big part of Torah. You need to have the support to be able to have the continuation of Torah, in Kemach in Torah. That's the reason why I bought some biscuits. Because you have to have a bit of flour, a bit of panasa to be able to learn Torah. I was just in Tel Aviv, so I hadn't got to eat yet since I came back. So I just felt, just in case I felt faint or something, I should bring it with. But the idea that you have to have Kemach to learn Torah, and you have to have Torah to learn Kemach, to have Kemach. It goes together, and these are the two reglaim, the feet that hold up the world of Torah and the world of Teshuva and the world of spirituality of Am Yisrael, and give us ability to undo the immorality and undo the hate from Adam Rishon and Cain, that we don't need to be jealous of our brother, we don't need to, God forbid, be jealous of somebody else's wife or woman. Hashem's given us exactly who we're supposed to have, our soulmate, if we're zocheh to marry, and if we have that soulmate, to realize this is 100% what Hashem wants us to be with, and the panasa and our situation, and even if it looks like someone's getting more nachas ruach to Hashem, like Cain thought that Hevel was doing a better job, no, we have to fix that whole jealousy and realize that exactly what our chelik is, our portion is perfect. And by being sameach, and we'll end off with this, by being happy with our portion, that is one of the most powerful ways to bring down bracha. To bring down blessing by thanking Hashem. You want to have a blessed Chodesh Elul and New Year to come, go into this time period thanking Hashem. Simchas Chag is a lot to do with our mindset, and our mindset's a lot to do with our gratitude and attitude of gratitude. By thanking Hashem, Halal and Hodah. This is the Parsha of Ra'eh, and we mentioned Kashrus the other day, but also there's the Chagim. To thank Hashem is a big part of the Chagim, is a big part of the Simchas Yom Tov. It's a big part of being a Jew. Yehudi means you have to have Hodah. And once again, we shouldn't forget all the miracles Hashem's done for us to be able to sit here and learn and watch all the Jews return back to Eretz Yisrael, and please God, more and more will come. And we should be zoch to beautiful Shabboses all the way up to Rosh Hashanah Kippur Sukkos, leading from the Sheva Shabboses into the new year of after the full completion of comfort. We'll be able to have the full Simcha, Amitis, the true Simcha, true Teshuva, and we please God with Mashiach. And the light will be manifest. All these concepts we're learning will start to really come revealed. And we'll be zoch to feel them in a real way that it will impact our daily life in the most profound Geschmackes way, and give a nachas work to Hashem. Amen v'amen.